Take the next left in 0.2 miles.
The woman's voice on the GPS says. I'd rather have my phone talking to me, but the damn rental car refused to pair with mine or Hannah's phone, so we're forced to use the default GPS in the car's console. Hannah stirs in the passenger seat and rubs her eyes as she blinks herself awake.
How long was I asleep?
She asks, as I come up on the road and flick my blinker on, even though I haven't seen another car in close to 2 hours. Always best to be safe. The one time I don't flick my blinker on, and that'll be the time a state trooper is hiding in the brush off the side of the road.
You've been in and out of sleep for close to 3 hours,
I say.
You mumbled a lot. Having strange dreams?
Yeah, she says, and stretches her arms back over her head, her knuckles brushing the car's ceiling.
Really strange. Flying a red-eye and then driving for 6 hours will do that,
I say with a chuckle.
Turn left here,
the GPS woman says. I make the turn onto not quite a gravel road. It isn't dirt, and it isn't gravel, and it isn't pavement. It's like hard-packed rock or something. The road is lined with tall fir trees and scraggly pines, their boughs hanging over the road, creating deep shadows in the dim light.
I thought it was supposed to be sunny?
Hannah asks as she rolls her shoulders and her neck, her eyes peering out through her window.
If we wanted clouds, we could have stayed in Seattle. It's spring in Montana. Pretty sure it gets rainy and cloudy here too. Bummer,
she says and yawns.
Oh, yuck, gross. What?
I ask, my eyes on the shadowed road.
My breath,
she says with a little laugh. It's that little laugh that helped me fall in love with her. Despite all our issues, that laugh always gives me a warm feeling.
I got the sleeping steak. Do you have any gum? Ran out of gum on the plane,
I say.
But I think there are some mints in the top pocket of my carry-on. Oh, thank God,
she says, and undoes her seatbelt. She turns in her seat and reaches back to my carry-on bag.
Which pocket? The top one. Like, if it's upright top, or if it's flat top. What does that even mean? There are 2 pockets on your bag, Charles,
she says, and I can hear that tone start to creep into her voice.
If the bag is upright on its wheels, then this pocket is the top one. If it's on its back like it is now, then the other pocket is the top one. The smaller pocket. I guess the one when it's upright.
I hear the zipper open and her hand rummage in the papers and receipts I stuffed in there during our trip.
Nope,
she says, and I hear the zipper close. Then another zipper opens. More rummaging. The zipper closes and turns back around.
The other pocket. Sorry.
She doesn't respond. She pops a mint into her mouth and sighs.
Much better than ass breath. Seatbelt,
I say and glance over at her.
Right. God forbid I stretch and loosen up a little,
she says, and that tone is even closer.
We don't want to get a ticket. There could be cops anywhere.
She looks about and shakes her head.
I doubt there's a cop on this road,
she says, then keeps swiveling her head. She leans past me, almost blocking my view of the road.
Where are we? What road is this? I don't know. I just do what the GPS lady tells me to do.
She leans back in her seat, then reaches out and taps the console screen, making the map larger so our route is easier to see.
It told you to turn onto this road?
She asks.
Yep,
I reply. Then I say in a bad imitation of the GPS woman's voice,
turn left here.
Hannah taps and pinches a couple of times. Then she spreads her fingers wider and wider before she goes back to tapping and pinching.
Charles?
I ask as I turn on the headlights. It's only 4 in the afternoon, but the fir trees are making it as dark as twilight.
This road isn't on here,
she says, and points at the GPS map.
We're driving in nothing.
I glance at the GPS and frown. She's right. According to the screen, the little arrow icon that represents our car is driving through open space. There's no gray road highlighted blue, All we see is our icon in the middle of a sea of green.
Weird.
I say, then point out the windshield.
I see a road, so the GPS must be glitching. Are you sure this is the right way?
She asks, as she looks left and right, over and over. She even leans forward and looks up at the trees as if they can somehow tell her something. Sure, Hannah grew up in the Pacific Northwest, but she's as city as it gets. The only reason she agreed to go to Montana for the 3rd anniversary of our first date was because I promised her a luxury cabin with all the amenities. Hot tub, sauna, king bed, plush towels, fully stocked bar, satellite internet as good as broadband, and more wood than we can burn in a year waiting to be placed in the mammoth fireplace that, according to the vacation rental website, takes up almost an entire wall of the cabin.
GPS said to turn left. I turned left.
I said, then tapped at the screen.
See, there's the address of the cabin, and it says we'll be there in 1 hour. Yeah, I can read, Charles,
she says, and the tone is there. I try not to sigh, but it escapes my lips anyway.
What?
She snaps.
I heard that sigh. I was just breathing. Oh, bullshit,
she replies, and pushes her back into her seat. I wait for her to cross her arms, but she doesn't, so I still might have an out on this one.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sigh,
I say.
It's been a long drive. I can take over. No, I got it. It's only an hour more. I have at least 2 hours in me. Well, I offered, so don't say I didn't. Wasn't going to. Yet. Hey,
I say and glance at her.
What's up? I haven't done anything wrong. I'm just following the GPS directions. I don't know how to get to the cabin, do you?
She crosses her arms. Fuck.
No, Charles, I don't,
she says and stares out her window.
But the GPS took us on a road that isn't on the map, so excuse me if I'm a little concerned. Concerned? What are you concerned about? Bears? Mountain lions? Rednecks? Rednecks? We have those in Seattle,
I say and chuckle.
Don't fucking laugh at me,
she snaps.
I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at the fact you lumped rednecks in with bears and mountain lions,
I say and chuckle again.
Lions and rednecks and bears, oh my. You laugh now, but when they have you bent over a log with your butt cheeks spread wide, you won't be laughing so much then. Jesus, Hannah, what the fuck? Hey, you wanted to go to the middle of nowhere for our anniversary. I wanted to go to the Bahamas.
She takes a deep breath, and then in a mocking voice that she thinks sounds like me, she says,
Hey, Hannah, instead of going somewhere warm, how about we go somewhere colder than where we live? Doesn't that sound fun? You said you were into this,
I reply, trying to keep the anger out of my voice.
We talked about this. I told you that we didn't have to go here. Yeah, right. What does that mean? It means yeah, right. No, it means that you don't believe me. Should I have? Yes. I said we could go anywhere. You agreed that the cabin looked great. I only agreed because you obviously were set on it. So you don't want to go to the cabin. Too late now. We're already here.
She looks out her window again.
Wherever the fuck here is.
She turns back to the screen and taps at the GPS.
If this even is a here, I think we should turn around. We've already been driving for like 15 minutes. Good. Then it'll only take us 15 minutes to get back to the main road. But the GPS said, fuck the GPS, Charles!
She snaps and smashes her palm against the screen.
There is no fucking road on this map. That means this isn't the road we should have turned on. The GPS literally told me to turn left at this road.
I snap back.
The GPS thinks there's a road, and the GPS is what's getting us to the cabin. Well, the GPS is on fucking crack,
she says, and slams her back into her seat as she crosses her arms again.
We should go back to the main road and find a gas station or something. We'll ask a local. What if the local is a redneck?
I ask and try to chuckle.
Aren't you worried they'll bend me over a log? Right now, considering how you are acting, I hope they do way worse to you. Fucking hell!
I say and hit the brakes. I get a little joy out of her jerking forward and almost hitting the dashboard.
Asshole,
She says, then looks around.
why'd you stop? You want me to turn around, right? Yes. Well, you have to stop the car first. No, that's not how cars work,
She says with a huff.
You just turn around.
The road's not wide enough, I say, and crank the wheel hard to the right as I put the transmission in reverse. I back up as far as the rear camera lets me before it starts to beep a warning at me. Then I put it in drive, crank the wheel hard to the left, and get us turned around.
See? Wow, what an amazing driver you are,
She says, her voice thick with sarcasm.
Rerouting.
The GPS voice says.
Make a U-turn and proceed west on the road.
Shut up.
Hannah says, and turns the GPS off.
What did you do that for?
I ask.
Now I don't know where to go. Back. You go back.
She says.
And we turned left onto this road. So when we get to the main road, we turn left again, and that'll take us in the direction we were going before. It's not rocket science, Charles.
I know it's not rocket science, I say quietly, and focus on the road ahead. The fir boughs look lower now, as if they're bending down to swipe at the car. But it's only a trick of the fading light. We sit in silence for 15 minutes as I drive us back to the main road. But there's no road. I keep driving. Neither of us says anything as another 5 minutes passes. Then 10 minutes. When we've backtracked for a good 30 minutes, Hannah swivels in her seat and stares at me without saying a word.
What?
I ask after tolerating a solid couple minutes of her stare.
You got us lost,
She says, not even trying to hide her disgust and disappointment.
I didn't get us lost. The GPS said turn left. I turned left. That's the only turn I took. I guess we drove further than I thought. I guess you did,
She says, and glares over at me.
Want me to drive? You think you can do better driving in a straight line than me?
I ask and chuckle. It's not a nice chuckle this time.
Be my guest. Whatever,
She says, and goes back to staring out of the windshield at the endless road and the endless fir trees and the endless scraggly pines and the endless boughs that droop and creep down toward the car. Another 30 minutes go by.
Stop the car,
She says.
Why?
I ask.
It has to be this way. I need to pee, Charles.
She says.
Outside?
I respond and smirk.
There are no bidets in the woods, Hannah. I'll take some napkins,
She says.
And despite what you think, I know how to pee outside. I grew up at the base of Mount Rainier. I can survive in the woods just fine, thank you. But you hate the woods. Yet you insisted we vacation out here anyway,
She says, and smacks her hand on the dashboard.
Stop the damn car before I piss my pants.
I slow the car to a stop, put it in park, and set the brake. When I turn the car off, she frowns at me.
I won't be that long. I have to pee too,
I say and get out of the car, ready to stretch my legs. I'm also ready for a little space. Hannah is amazing, but she can be a bit much, especially when she feels inconvenienced.
Don't go too far,
I say as I walk toward my side of the road.
Just peeing, Charles, not hiking,
She says as she walks to her side of the road. I unzip, and the brisk evening air sends a chill to my nether regions. It doesn't feel bad. I was looking forward to some naked hot tubbing and then cold plunging into the snowbanks that are still around in these parts. So the brisk air just motivates me even more to get back on the road so we can hit our final destination. With a shake, a zip, and a sigh of relief, I turn around and walk back to the car. As I look over the top, I don't see Hannah anywhere.
Hey, where are you?
I call out. There's no answer.
Hannah?
Still no answer. I round the car and walk to the side of the road she went to. I see some of the brush had been disturbed, and I think I see a boot print, but I can't be sure. I crouch down and move some leaves and twigs. Definitely a boot print, but it looks old. It doesn't look like it came from the sleek boots that Hannah was wearing. I stand back up and cup my hands to my mouth.
Hannah!
response.
Hannah!
I yell as loud as I can. Again, no response.
Fuck.
I mutter and fish out my phone. I turn the flashlight on and step off into the woods. I call for her as I hike through the trees. I wave my phone this way and that, hoping I can catch a glimpse of her. She was wearing a cream sweater and a silver puffy vest, so she should be easy to spot.
Hannah!
My voice echoes around me and I pause. Maybe she doesn't know which direction my yelling is coming from. I cock my head and listen, straining to hear a reply.
Hannah!
I continue walking when I don't hear any response. I check my phone, and I've been hiking for a good 10 minutes. There's no way she went in this far. I start to turn around, but my flashlight catches sight of something. A reflection a few yards off to my right.
Hannah!
I cry out as I rush toward what I see. But it's not Hannah. Definitely not Hannah.
What the fuck?
I whisper as I stare down at a skeleton. It's clad in rotted clothes that have been mostly lost to the elements and forest critters. The skeleton's bones have been picked clean by scavengers and insects. It's the white of the bones that my flashlight reflected off of. In one bony hand is a phone. I'd crouch down and see if it still has a charge, and maybe identify the person, but fuck that. I'm not getting any closer to this skeleton. I'll just call for help.
911, how may I assist you?
The operator answers.
Thank God. I wasn't sure if I'd have...
But before I can finish, my phone beeps telling me the call was dropped. I check my cell phone, and I have 3 bars of service, which is plenty. I try again.
911, how may I...
The signal drops again. When I call back, I get only beeping. The call won't even go through.
Shit!
I say, then look around me.
Which way did I come from?
Using the skeleton as my starting point, I spin around 180 degrees and hike back toward where I think I veered off. In a few minutes, I think I see my own tracks, and I turn and walk back in the direction I hope the road is in.
Hannah!
I yell her name over and over until I'm finally back at the road. She's sitting in the passenger seat. Her eyes are on her phone, her face telling me she has shitty service too. When she turns and sees me, she shoves open the door and yells,
Where the fuck have you been? Looking for you!
I yell back.
I've been calling and you didn't answer. I was calling for you and you didn't answer.
She says.
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you.
We look at each other, then both hold up our phones.
No service,
I say.
3 bars, but nothing is going through. Same here. Thought you said you had no service. Right. I have 3 bars too, but nothing is going through, just like you. 3 bars is service, Charles. Not if the calls keep getting dropped.
I hold up my hands and take a deep breath. All right. Let's both calm down. We're tired, we're stressed, and we're lost.
We're fucking lost, thanks to you.
She snaps.
Get in the car so we can get moving. I am not staying the night out here.
A little part of me almost tells her to go fuck herself. She can drive and see if she does any better. But if she does drive and gets us out of here, I'll never hear the end of it. She will hold it over my head for years. It'll become the story she tells at parties and gatherings. I could be all the way across the room, and when I hear laughter, I'll know she's talking about me and how I got us lost and how she got us found. Screw that. There is no way I'm telling her about the skeleton. No way. She'll freak out in a heartbeat. I get in the car and start it up. The screen glows bright, and the GPS comes up, despite the fact Hannah had turned it off.
Must be automatic on ignition,
I say before she can comment or complain. I go to switch the screen off, but she grabs my hand. Wait, she says. She pinches the screen out, and our little blue dot grows smaller and smaller on the screen. There, she says, and taps at the gray line of the main road. It's right there. She looks out the windshield, back at the screen, out the windshield, then back at the screen.
That can't be right,
she says.
What do you mean? That's the main road. We'll just keep driving until we get to it. But the road is off that way,
she says and points past me, her finger aiming out my side window.
And we've been driving straight. Did you make any other turns when you took this road? Like I said, no,
I reply. I'm really trying to keep things calm, but she's pushing all of my buttons. I know. We make our own buttons, so no one can really push them unless we allow it. But damn if Hannah doesn't know how to get under my skin.
Drive for a bit and let's see what happens,
she says, her eyes on the GPS screen once more.
That's the plan,
I say, and put the car into drive and press down on the accelerator. We go for about 3 miles when Hannah says,
Stop here. What do you see? Nothing,
she says, then opens her door and steps out.
Where are you going? Hannah, get back in the car. It's getting darker and it's getting colder. We need to keep going. Where?
She asks, as she ducks her head back down into the car and stares at me.
We drive and get nowhere.
She points at the screen.
But look, Charles, the main road is only about a half a mile that way. Maybe we should ditch the car and walk to the road so we can flag someone down. You want to ditch the car, hike through dark woods that neither of us know, and then hope a car comes by that we can flag down?
I ask, not masking my skepticism.
It's a better plan than driving in a straight line forever.
As she stares at me, I take a deep breath and let it out slowly. She rolls her eyes. I ignore the eye roll.
The safest thing is to stay with the car,
I say.
If we get lost out there after the sun goes all the way down, then we could freeze to death before we find the road or before someone finds us. Who's going to find us? No one is looking for us. My point exactly. The car has heat.
But how much gas? She asks, and I can tell by her tone that she's already looked at the gauge. I steal a glance and don't respond.
How much gas, Charles?
She asks.
Huh? A full tank? Half a tank?
She waits for me to answer, even though I know she knows how much gas we have.
Looks like just under a quarter of a tank,
she says when I don't respond.
Will a quarter of a tank last us all night if we run the heat?
Maybe.
Really, Charles? It might,
I insist.
The car uses less gas when it idles than when we're driving. It should last us all night. So you want to stay right here then?
She's setting a trap. I know it.
No, I want to keep driving, which will use up more gas.
Trap sprung.
If we get out and hike through the woods, we can easily get lost. Even if the car runs out of gas, we're on a road, and someone will have to come by at some point. Will they, Charles? Yes!
I shout and bang my hands on the steering wheel over and over and over.
We should stay with the car!
Her eyes are wide, and her mouth is set in that way that tells me I have royally fucked up. I let the stress get to me, and I lashed out. Big mistake.
Hey, I'm sorry,
I say.
I shouldn't have. Save it,
she says and waves a hand at me as she stands up. All I can see is her midsection as she turns slowly in a circle. Then she faces the car again and ducks down.
Hand me my water bottle. What for?
I ask as I reach back and grab her water bottle from the side pocket of her backpack.
Because I'm thirsty, and I'll get even more thirsty hiking to the main road. Hannah, you are not.
A hand in my face stops me from finishing my sentence. When she pulls her hand back, she stands back up and walks to the front of the car. The back of her is lit up by the headlights, and she takes a long drink from her water bottle, then turns around.
Shut off the car,
she says, and nods her head toward the woods.
Let's go. No,
I say loudly and shake my head, in case she can't hear me.
We tried driving out, and it isn't working,
she says.
Look at the GPS.
I look at the screen. The blue dot does show us half a mile from the main road, if we hike through the woods. Rolling down my window, I lean out and say,
It's a bad idea. Oh, for fuck's sake, Charles,
she says and takes another drink of water. Then she snaps the lid closed, tucks the bottle into her vest pocket, turns to the woods, and marches off into the darkness.
Hannah, wait!
I shout and jump out of the car. She's already almost out of sight by the time I reach the edge of the road where she stepped into the woods.
Hannah, stop! Come back! Come with me or stay with the car!
She yells back.
I'm not going back! Damn it, Hannah! This is ridiculous!
I yell as she is lost in the shadows.
Hannah!
She doesn't stop, and she doesn't respond. I look at the car. I look at the way she went. I look back at the car.
Son of a bitch!
I snarl as I run back to the car, grab the keys, grab my water bottle, then hurry back to the side of the road.
Hold on! I'm coming!
I race into the darkness and struggle to find her path. My flashlight helps a little when I turn it on, but I don't see her boot prints or any prints. I don't see a trail. I don't see Hannah.
Hannah!
I shout and keep hurrying in the direction I saw her go.
Hannah!
I think I hear a response, and I run faster toward the sound. After a few minutes, I have to pause and take a break. My chest is heaving, and my throat burns from the cold air.
Hannah!
I croak. Drinking from my water bottle, I cool the burn and shout again.
Hannah!
No response, just like the last 100 times I've shouted her name.
I'm coming with you! Stop!
But she doesn't reply. My instinct is to turn in a circle and shine my flashlight in every direction. But turning in a circle could get me disoriented. I've been running in a straight line from the road. If I want to get back to the car, which I do because, like I said, it's safer to stay with the car, then I just need to go back the way I came.
Hannah!
I shout one last time before I turn on my heels and march back to the car. The woods are completely dark now, and I look up at the canopy above me, hoping to see some stars through the boughs. But the tree cover is too thick, and all I can make out are the dim outlines of fir branches. With my attention above, I step on a pine cone and my foot goes out from under me. I fall to my ass, landing on a few more pine cones with a loud crunch. Another crunch echoes out from the woods in response.
Hannah?
I wait for a minute, then pick myself up, wipe myself off, and keep walking back to the road. A loud crunch off to my left makes me stop.
Hannah?
I don't know why I whisper. She can't hear me if I whisper. But for some reason, shouting feels like a bad idea right now.
Hannah?
I whisper again before I keep walking. I shine my light to the right but see nothing there. I shine my light to the left with the same lack of results. I break into a run. Hannah isn't big enough to make that much noise, and whatever is stepping on the pine cones has to be big. Lions and rednecks and bears run through my mind over and over as I race my way through the trees, weaving past the trunks, desperate to stay on course and get back to the car. Whatever it is, it's right behind me. Lions and rednecks and bears. Lions and rednecks and bears. Lions and rednecks and there! The road! The car! I let out a terrified yell as I sprint the last few yards to the rental car. It beeps as I hit the unlock button on the key fob. I dare not waste time and look over my shoulder, even though the crunching is getting louder and louder and louder. And holy shit, it's right on me, and I swear it's going to grab me and rip me to shreds. I get to the car, and I get the door open, and I get inside, and I slam the door closed and hit the door locks, and I turn my head and stare out the window, ready to see the lion or the redneck or bear that is chasing me, and nothing. There is nothing out there. I press my phone against the window so it doesn't reflect back at me, and let my flashlight illuminate the edge of the road. Nothing. Nada. Zip. Zilch. Zero. I take a deep breath and ease my head against the seat's headrest. It had to be the echoes of my own feet, right? I panicked and just heard myself running is all. Nothing was chasing me. No lions or rednecks or bears. I simply freaked myself out. I go to press the start button but pause. Hannah is still out there. I can't leave her. But I can't go back in those woods either. I shouted and yelled and called for her, but she didn't respond. Now that I've backtracked to the car, she has to be even farther along than before. Even if I did try to follow her again, I'd never catch up. I press start, and the car revs back to life. The screen blinks on and I look at the GPS. The main road is gone. There's no gray line. There's only a wide expanse of green showing me the woods I'm in, and the ever-present blue dot that represents me in the damn rental car. Then it hits me. I swipe my phone open and bring up the message app. I click on Hannah's icon and then tap her info. Unavailable. That's what it says when I try to track her phone. Unavailable. But I still have 3 bars. She said she had 3 bars. I should be able to find her on my phone. Unless...
You have got to be shitting me.
I snap, anger welling in my belly.
Really, Hannah? Seriously?
She fucking turned off her tracking. That's exactly what she did. She's pissed at me and wants me to worry my ass off, so she turned off her tracking.
What a fucking... Fine.
I mumble as I put the car in drive.
You want to play that game? Then let's play that game.
I press down on the accelerator and start driving once more. After a few minutes, I lift up my phone and say,
You know what? 2 can play this game.
I swipe through my settings until I get to the location part. Then I turn off my location, so she can't find me either. Let's see how she likes it. I drive for a good hour, my eyes locked onto the road, ready for the intersection with the main road to appear any second. Any second. Any second now, the main road will be right in front of me. Any second. 20 minutes pass. 30 minutes. 40. I keep glancing out my window, hoping maybe I'll see Hannah's flashlight. I may be pissed off at her, but I love her. Even though she did this to herself, I can't just abandon her. But I can't stop driving either. I have to find the main road. Another 20 minutes of driving goes by. 30. 40. Then I see the reflection of taillights. Holy shit! There's a car ahead! I speed up and get to the car in seconds. But when I slow and come to a stop, I realize there's more than one car. In fact, there's a whole line of cars in front of me. Slowly, I open the door and step out onto the road.
Hello?
I call as I bring up my flashlight and approach the first car. It's an old Subaru, just like 1,000 others that are around the area. Dust and pine needles coat the rear window and its rear wiper blade. I carefully move my way to the front. Then I stop and try not to scream. Skeletons. One in the driver's seat and one in the passenger seat. They're dressed for warm weather, not for early spring in Montana. Have they been here since last summer? I take a deep breath and move on to the next car, a Honda SUV. My scream can't be held back, and I let loose as I stare inside and see a family of skeletons. Mom and Dad in the front with the kids, strapped into car seats in the back. Trying not to hyperventilate, I go up the row of cars, and all I see are skeletons. When I turn to the row of cars and raise my flashlight, I see no end to the vehicles. They go on and on and on. Shit! I race back to my car as fast as possible. When I get back in and lock the door, I hold my head in my hands. This isn't right, I say and shake my head back and forth. This isn't happening. I clench my fists and bang my forehead on the steering wheel over and over until I start to see twinkling lights in my eyes. I stop before I give myself a concussion. Then I look up and out the windshield at the line of cars that stretches on forever and ever and ever. Okay, this is obviously the wrong way. Hard not to see that. All I have to do is turn around and go the other way. The other way? The other way from what? I look to the screen and want to punch my fist through it as I stare at the nothing that is the GPS. It's all green. No roads anywhere. I pinch out and widen the scope. All green. I keep pinching out and widening the scope, and still it's only green. Green, 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 green. Fucking green! My fist hits the screen and it cracks, the GPS frizzing out to static, then to black. When I look at my knuckles, I see blood, and a second later, the pain kicks in. I didn't just split the skin. I'm sure I broke something. Out of the corner of my eye, I see something move in the darkness. I whip out my phone and roll my window down, shoving my arm outside as I wave the flashlight at the spot where I saw the movement.
Hannah!
She doesn't answer. What does answer is a low growling, then the crunching of pine cones being obliterated under something big.
Hannah?
I say, but without any strength behind it. I pull my hand back into the car and roll up the window as the crunching gets louder and louder. My eyes are locked on the side of the road. I can hear the crunching even with the window rolled up. It becomes so loud that I want to cover my ears. Lions and rednecks and bears. Lions and rednecks and bears. The crunching pauses, and I strain to see anything beyond the illumination of the car's headlights. After what feels like forever, but is only 10 minutes according to my phone, I slowly roll the window down and listen hard. The crunching has stopped. Either the thing has passed, or it's waiting out there for me. The problem is, it's waiting on the same side of the road that Hannah used to head to the main road. A main road that won't show up on the GPS. I look at the cracked screen. I guess nothing is showing up on the GPS now. I try 911 again, but the call doesn't even attempt to go through. I get the fail warning instantly. Putting the car in drive, I turn around again, away from the traffic jam of doom, hoping that this will be the last stretch of road before freedom. Then what? Do I head toward the cabin? Hannah had the address in her phone, so she might be going there. Hell, maybe she found a route and is there by now. She's been hiking for hours, so she could easily have made it. Or do I drive back to the highway and report Hannah missing? Do I say we took a wrong turn, had an argument, and she got out and started hiking? I mean, if anything has happened to her, it's not going to look so good for me. Boyfriend drives his girlfriend into the middle of nowhere, and the girlfriend ends up getting lost, then hurt, and possibly worse? A jury will fry me in half a second. I look down at the gas gauge and try not to panic. The needle is just above empty. I probably have another 50 minutes or so of driving left before I'm out of gas and stranded. When I look up from the dashboard, I can't believe what I'm seeing. A person is hurrying out of the woods on the opposite side of where Hannah had entered. There's somebody else out here. The person races into the middle of the road, waving their arms up over their head for me to stop. I slam on the brakes, and realization hits me. I know that shiny vest. I bought that shiny vest. It's Hannah. But how? She went into the woods on the left side, and now she's coming out of the right side? She's still waving her arms over her head when she runs toward me. I open the door and step out. As soon as she is past the headlights and can see me, she skids to a stop.
Charles?
She asks.
Oh, thank God it's you.
I say and hurry to her. I wrap her up in my arms, but she is stiff as a board. I pull away.
What's wrong? How are you here?
She asks and looks around.
This isn't the main road? No, it's the same road.
I say and frown at her.
I honestly wasn't sure I'd see you again. I don't get it.
She says and pushes back from me.
I walked in a straight line.
She holds up her phone to show me the compass app. The digital needle is spinning around and around.
I don't think it's working,
I say. She looks at her phone and scrunches up her face.
But it was pointing me in the right direction this whole time,
she says.
I saw the headlights, and I ran as fast as I could, so happy I'd made it to the main road, but terrified I'd missed the car. Then I got to the road and here we are,
I say.
Back to nothing,
she says, defeated.
But we're together. Please, let's not split up again.
She nods but doesn't say anything. Her eyes are wide and scared, and she keeps looking around.
While you were out there, did you hear anything?
Her attention returns to me. She nods.
Like big footsteps?
She nods again.
I don't think it's rednecks,
she says quietly and tugs on my arm.
Let's get in the car. Good idea,
I say and lead her to her side. She breaks from my grip and yanks her door open, then jumps inside, slamming it almost before I can get out of the way. I waste no time and run around back to my door. It's still open from when I jumped out to greet Hannah, so I'm in and slamming the door in seconds, just as another crunch echoes from the woods.
Drive,
Hannah whispers, her eyes scanning the area, hunting for the source of the noise. I drive. We travel for a solid 45 minutes. Then we see the reflections of taillights ahead.
There!
She shouts, and her body bounces in her seat from her excitement.
People!
I want to believe. I truly do. But as we get closer and closer and finally stop, I see the Subaru symbol on the back of the car. I see the same dirt and dust and pine needles gathered on the back window and the windshield wiper blade. I know what sits in that car. I don't even bother to say anything as Hannah jumps out and races toward the infinite line of cars.
Hey!
She shouts.
Hello! Help us!
I see her get to the front of the first car, and I watch the horror build on her face. Then she runs to the Honda CR-V, and I see more horror. She keeps running, hurrying down the line of cars, until I watch her collapse to her knees as she screams and screams and screams. A chime alerts me to the gas tank being empty. I turn the car off. I sit there in silence, in the dark, on a road that won't let us leave as Hannah screams at the line of cars and the skeletons inside. After a long while, she gets herself together and walks back to our car. When she gets in, she doesn't look at me, but she reaches out for my hand. I take it.
Next time we go to the Bahamas.
She says.
Yes, that sounds good.
I reply.
Next time.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoy these stories, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out some more of my episodes here.